I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. IV made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. All right, let me ask you something real quick. You ever catch yourself thinking about how ironic this whole thing is? I mean, really think about it. Most of us spend 8, sometimes 9 hours a day at work wishing we were free. Dreaming about that moment when the clock hits 5 or 6 or whenever your shift ends, you tell yourself all day, oh man, when I get home, I am going to work on that side project. I am going to go to the gym. I am going to read that book. I am going to cook a proper meal. And then what happens? Evening finally rolls around and you crash on the couch. You pick up your phone. 2 hours disappear into Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or TikTok or whatever your poison is. You tell yourself just 5 more minutes and suddenly it is 11:30. You haven't done anything you planned. You feel guilty. You promise tomorrow will be different. And then tomorrow comes and guess what? Same exact story. I used to be exactly like that. Actually, no, I was worse. I was way worse. My evenings were this total blur of exhaustion and bad decisions and wasted time. I'd buy food delivery because I was too tired to cook even though I was broke. I'd stay up watching random videos until 2 in the morning even though I had to be up at 7. I'd tell myself I was relaxing, but honestly, I wasn't relaxing at all. I was just numbing out. And the worst part, I wake up the next morning feeling even more tired than when I went to bed. It was this vicious cycle that kept me stuck for years. And then something changed. It was one big dramatic moment. It wasn't some motivational speech that flipped a switch in my brain. It was slower than that. I started experimenting with small changes in how I handled my evenings, little tweaks here and there, and over time, those small changes added up to something massive. My evenings went from being this dead zone at the end of the day to actually being the best part of my day. And I am not talking about some tight, rigid schedule that makes you feel like a robot. I am talking about real freedom, the kind where you actually enjoy your free time and feel recharged and ready for the next day. Before you roll your eyes thinking, oh great, another productivity guru telling me to wake up at 5 a.m. and take cold showers, let me stop you right there. That is not what this is. What I am about to share with you are 8 systems that I've tested on myself and seen work for real people, regular people with jobs and bills and limited energy. These strategies work with your natural rhythms, not against them. They simple changes. And when I say simple, I mean genuinely simple, not the kind of simple that requires a whole new lifestyle or a complete personality makeover. So if you want to stop feeling like your evenings just slip through your fingers like sand, then keep watching. Let us start with the first system that changed everything for me. Chapter 1, Routines and Structure. The way you spend your evenings actually shapes your entire life. I know that sounds dramatic, but it is true. Your evenings determine how well you sleep, which determines how productive you are the next day, which determines your career progression, which determines your income, which determines your financial future. See how this all connects, but most people get it all wrong when it comes to fixing their after-work hours. They focus so much on time management when what they really need is energy management. Let me explain. Your evening is not just numbers on a clock. It is about your energy levels, your mental state, your ability to actually enjoy life after work. And that is exactly what we need to work on together. Let us start with something I practice almost every single day. I call it the shutdown ritual. It is beautifully simple. When you finish work, you stand up from your desk, you take 3 deep breaths, and then you physically close your laptop. I don't mean just putting it to sleep. I mean closing it all the way. If you work from home, you might even put it in a drawer. What makes this so effective is not just that it is a cute little habit. It is actually a psychological trigger that tells your brain work mode is over. Without this ritual, your brain stays in work mode all evening. Even when you are not actively working, your mind is still half there, half worrying about that email, half thinking about tomorrow. Meeting, you need a clear signal that says, we redone here. Now, here's where most people stumble. They finish work, and then they try to plan their entire evening in one big chunk free time, from 6 to 11. That is 5 hours. That feels overwhelming, so what do? We do nothing. We freeze up, we scroll. So instead, let us break it down using something I call the 90-minute evening block system. Your brain naturally works in 90-minute focus cycles. We call these ultradian rhythms. Instead of seeing your evening as one giant overwhelming block of free time, we break it into 3 power blocks. Block 1 is recovery. This is your decompression time. No decisions, no planning, just pure recharge. For me, this looks like changing out of my work clothes, making a cup of tea, and sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing for 20 minutes. I used to feel guilty about this. I used to think I should be productive every single second, but that just burned me out. Give yourself permission to decompress. Block 2 is growth. This is when your energy starts climbing back up after that initial dip, usually around 7 to 8:30 for me. This is when I work on something meaningful, learning a new skill, reading, working on this channel, getting some movement in, working on a hobby, whatever moves the needle for you. Block 3 is connection. Your energy is balanced. Now, you've already done something for yourself. So this is the perfect time for quality time with people who matter. Family, friends, your partner, or even just connecting with yourself through journaling or reflection. Now here is something unexpected that transformed my approach: reverse scheduling. Most people plan their day from morning to evening. They wake up and decide what to do, and then they just kind of go with the flow until they crash. But consider this. Your evening affects your morning way more than your morning affects your evening. If you have a bad morning, you can still salvage the day. But if you have a bad evening, you sleep poorly and the next day is ruined before it even starts. So flip the script, start with when you want to sleep. For me, that is 10:30, then work backward from there. Connection block ends at 9:30, growth block ends at 8:30. Recovery ends at 7. See how that works? You are designing your evening around your sleep, not the other way around. One more thing that made a huge difference. The 2-minute evening reset every time you switch activities. Take just 2 minutes to physically reset your space. Clear your desk, adjust the lighting, change your clothes if you need to. These seem like such small actions, but they create profound changes. They signal to your brain that a new chapter of the evening is beginning. Without these resets, your brain stays stuck in whatever energy you had from the previous activity. Trust me on this one, it sounds silly, but it works. Alright, let's move to chapter 2, which is probably the thing that was destroying my evenings the most. Digital wellness. Let us talk about something that affects every single one of us. Your phone, your laptop, your television, all these devices. A well-designed evening requires digital boundaries. Think about vampires for a second. In those old movies, vampires drain your energy slowly without you even noticing until it is too late. Well, your phone and laptop are exactly like that. They are energy vampires quietly draining your evening potential, and I am not saying this to be dramatic. I am saying this because I lived it. IV had countless evenings where I picked up my phone to check one thing, and suddenly 2 hours were gone. 2 hours I could have spent reading or exercising or connecting with someone I care about, gone forever. I can never get those hours back, so I am going to show you how to turn these devices from evening destroyers into evening enhancers. Let me share an unconventional approach. I call it app mortality. Here's the challenge. Every evening, delete one app from your phone, just one. I know the concern is, but what if I need it tomorrow? That is fine. You can always reinstall it. It takes 30 seconds. But what is remarkable is that 90% of the time you won't even remember which app you deleted. You'll go through your whole day without noticing it is gone. And if you do notice, you reinstall it, no harm done. But what this does is it trains your brain to see apps as tools, not as permanent fixtures in your life. It breaks the automatic habit of opening apps without thinking. Another approach I love is what I call the analog hour. It is beautifully simple. 1 hour before bed, your devices go to sleep before you do. But here is the crucial element that most people miss. Don't just turn them off. Actually put them in a different room. If your phone is in your bedroom, you will check it. Maybe not right away. But eventually, when you wake up in the middle of the night, when you can fall asleep, when you are bored, your phone will be there waiting. But if your phone is in the kitchen charging, you won't check it, because that would require getting out of bed and walking to the kitchen. Build friction between you and your distractions. Your bedroom becomes an amazing sanctuary instead of feeling like a satellite office for your digital life. To be clear, digital minimalism is about living like it is 1985. I am not telling you to throw away your smartphone and move to a cabin in the woods. It is about using technology intentionally. Here's what I do. I choose 3 essential apps for my evening. That is it. For me, it is my audiobook app, a meditation app, and my messaging app in case someone needs to reach me urgently. Everything else is digital noise. I turn off notifications for everything else. I put those apps in a folder on the last page of my phone so I don't see them. Out of sight, out of mind. Another effective approach is what I call screen life separation tactics. The idea is to create physical barriers between you and your screens. For example, put your phone charger in the kitchen. Keep your laptop in a drawer when you are not using it. Use a real alarm clock instead of your phone. These seem like such small changes, but they build what I like to call a fortress around your evening. Each small barrier makes it just that little bit harder to slip into mindless scrolling. And over time, those barriers add up to real freedom. Remember this, technology should serve your evening, not steal it. Your devices work for you, you don't work for them. Chapter 3 is about psychological techniques. Now that we've handled our devices, we need to focus on something equally important, our minds. Your mind is essentially the control room of your evening. And these psychological techniques are not just tips from some book I read, they real transformations. I've seen work in my own life and in the lives of people I've mentored. Here's an important insight that changed how I think about screens. I call it digital sunset protocols. Consider this. Your brain doesn't distinguish between digital light and sunlight. When you stare at a bright screen at midnight, your brain thinks it is high noon. That blue light suppresses melatonin production and messes with your sleep cycle. But the key insight isn't just about when you look at screens. It is about how you transition away from them. You need a gradual dimming, not an abrupt cutoff. Start dimming your screens 2 hours before bed. Use night mode, lower the brightness, create a gradual transition from bright to dark. Something that transformed my evenings was creating what I call your evening sanctuary. This isn't just about throwing some comfortable pillows around. It is about building a space that tells your brain this is where transformation happens. Dim lights, soft textures, calm colors, your environment speaks directly to your subconscious mind. It whispers things to your brain without you even realizing it. If your environment is bright and harsh and cluttered, your brain stays alert and stressed. If your environment is dim and soft and organized, your brain relaxes. I spent $50 on a warm tone lamp from Amazon and it changed my evenings more than any productivity app ever did. Seriously, an interesting technique I practice is future self-journaling. Every evening I try writing a letter to my morning self. But here's the psychological element that makes all the difference. Don't write what you should do, instead write how you want to feel. Instead of writing, remember to reply to that email you write. I hope you wake up feeling clear and focused. Your brain has this amazing ability to reverse engineer the path to those feelings. When you write about how you want to feel, your subconscious starts figuring out the steps to get there. It is like setting a destination in your GPS. You don't need to know every turn. Your brain figures out the route. Another mindset shift that changed everything is what I call the evening energy debt mindset. Most people see their evening as borrowed time from tomorrow. They think I'll stay up late tonight and sleep in tomorrow, or I'll relax tonight and work twice as hard tomorrow. But this is a scarcity mindset. The shift I recommend is to stop thinking this way. Your evening is a debt you are paying. Think of it as an investment you are making. Each restful moment is actually building tomorrow's energy reserves. Each hour of quality sleep is like depositing money into your energy bank account. When you view your evening as an investment rather than a debt, you treat it differently. You stop wasting it and start protecting it. One approach that has been powerful for me is called the decision elimination strategy. By the time evening rolls around, your decision-making muscles are literally exhausted. You've made hundreds of decisions all day. What to wear, what to eat, how to respond to that email, which task to prioritize. Your willpower is depleted. So what works best is to eliminate every possible decision in the evening. This is why I lay out my clothes for the next day before I go to bed. I pre-plan my breakfast. I set up my morning coffee station. I pack my bag. Your future self will thank you for this. I promise. When you wake up in the morning and everything is already set up for you, it feels like someone left you a gift. And that someone is your past self. Moving on to Chapter 4, Mindfulness and Emotional Intelligence Practices. The way we manage our thoughts naturally guides us to understanding our emotions. Your emotions aren't something you need to manage. They actually signals waiting to be understood. And in your evenings, these signals become incredibly powerful tools for transformation. Let me explain. First up, something unexpected. Micro-meditation moments. Forget everything you know about sitting for an hour in lotus position, humming mantras. We're going to think smaller. Much smaller, for instance. When you pour your evening tea, just feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Really feel it. Notice the heat radiating into your palms. When you sit on your couch, notice 3 points where your body touches the surface. Your back against the cushion, your thighs against the seat, your feet on the floor. These tiny moments of awareness work like hitting a reset button for your mind. They pull you out of autopilot and bring you into the present moment. And the best part is they take 10 seconds. One practice that transformed my evenings is creating an evening awareness protocol. Most of us rush through our evenings on autopilot. We eat dinner without tasting it, we watch television without really watching, we scroll without thinking. But I discovered that your evening has a pulse. It has a natural rhythm. Try this. Every hour, take 10 seconds to name your current emotion. That is all. Just name it. I am feeling anxious. I am feeling bored. I am feeling peaceful. Don't try to change it. Don't judge it. Just name it. The simple act of naming emotions actually reduces their power over you by about 40%. It is called affect labeling, and it is backed by neuroscience. When you name an emotion, you activate the prefrontal cortex, which is the thinking part of your brain, and that calms down the amygdala, which is the emotional part. You literally rewire your brain by naming your feelings. This is where transformation happens. Present moment anchoring. Pick 3 everyday evening activities. Maybe it is brushing your teeth, washing dishes, changing clothes.